LinkedIn and my email list. So I'm just going to show you the process that I used, and maybe it'll help you. Maybe you'd be interested in doing something like this. So I'm going to switch to full screen here and just turn off my graphics. So, okay. Um, so first off, I surveyed, I think it's at 1017 at the moment, 1017. The number ticks up because I didn't take down the surveys, I left them up. So the number ticks up very slowly over time. And I'll talk you through the whole process that I used for this. So, first thing is, I help independent consultants and specialized consulting firms to get more leads, get more referrals, and that's my background to doing this. So these are the people who I want to help. So, and if you want to find me, you can find me at What Strategy on Twitter, and my website is at marketingforconsultants.com. And I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn, as you will see more of here. So the reason I did this was because I wanted to understand my target market better, and I wanted to know about them, what problems they're encountering, and what their priorities are. And I wanted to really understand, in particular, about how they do marketing online and how they use their websites, because that's that is something that I can help them with. So I want to understand what they think about that. So how I did this was I created these very short surveys. Now each survey was 4 questions or 5 questions maximum, and the first 2 questions were always multi-choice to make things very easy, and then usually the second 2 questions were uh, kind of paragraph text type answers. So I distributed these through LinkedIn, using LinkedIn search and using the paid LinkedIn, so that I could target people with search. And some of the things that I want to learn about is, how do this market use marketing? How do they use their websites? Do they listen to podcasts? Do they read blogs? How are they specialized? Who do they see as authorities for them? And I wanted to learn some things about what language they used. For example, in the world of consulting, a lot of people talk about business development, and sometimes they even call it biz dev or BD. And that wasn't something that I was familiar with beforehand. So I wanted to learn about these kind of things. That's one of the reasons why I did this project. So here's what I actually learned by doing this. So I wanted to grow my ideal target audience. I wanted to grow my LinkedIn audience of management consultants in particular, and any kind of independent consultant. So what I did was I targeted these people through LinkedIn search. And then what I wanted to do afterwards is build credibility and trust and authority with them by demonstrating expertise, and doing that by actually publishing regularly to LinkedIn. So that's kind of the second part of the mix. So first start with the growing the audience, and then the second part is to actually publish and have them see what you're publishing. So I'm just going to talk today about this first part, growing the LinkedIn audience. And this next part, I'll talk for another day. So I just want to talk about what LinkedIn really is first. So it's a massive search engine, and you will show up in your first, second, and third degree connection searches. So you should strategically build the number of first degree connections. So you should be looking to always grow your audience, and grow your connections. And this is going to exponentially increase the likelihood that you will be in near the top of the search results when people do searches. And it will also mean more likely that people will see your post, because there'll be more people in your audience. So, how to grow your LinkedIn audience? It's really complicated. You connect with people. That's all. You find people who you want to connect with, and you send them some sort of connection message, or maybe even you just click the connect button. Although I would suggest that you use some sort of personalized message. Now, there is this kind of approach. Some people view LinkedIn like it's some sort of protected Rolodex. They never accept LinkedIn requests from people they haven't done business with or they don't know personally, and that is absolutely fine. If that's your take on it, well, if that's your take on it, you're probably not watching this video. There are lots of people who do it like that, and they won't connect to people they don't want to know. That's absolutely fine. They can do their thing. It's not something that I'm worried about because there are lots of people who have a different kind of view on it and who will connect with you. So I don't really worry about those who don't want to do that. Um, they're kind of a small minority, I think, on the platform, and there's lots of people who will connect. So the big advantage here is this theory called the strength of weak ties, and I don't really want to go into a lot of detail on it. A lot of people who've done um, arts backgrounds will and sociology will have read this paper. People with backgrounds like me in kind of more engineering focused won't have heard of it. Effectively, the strength of weak ties means that it's more likely that you will hear about a job opportunity through somebody who you don't know very well than somebody who you do know well. And there's a lot of theory behind it, and you're welcome to. I can post up this URL. You can read more about it, or just Google the strength of weak ties. But effectively, it means it's actually useful to build up a network of people who you don't know very well. So there is a kind of a value in this. The other thing is, for me, LinkedIn is a social network. It's not a country club, and it's 2019. Actually, it's 2020. I'm sorry, this presentation is from last year, but it's the modern day. It's an online social network. This isn't some kind of velvet rope kind of country club where you shouldn't be connecting with people. So I think it's absolutely fine to connect with people. So that's kind of my philosophy on connecting to people on LinkedIn. So before you start connecting with people, I think it's important to prepare your profile. So there's a couple of things here. You should have a decent quality headshot, so your photo should be good quality. You should write some sort of headline, and I really like here the positioning statement. So I help these people solve this problem. You should customize your banner image up here. There's a summary section in the about field that you can fill in. And I recommend that you also upload some media here to give a bit of color and kind of make your profile stand out and look good as well. And you can upload photos and PDFs and things there. So you can play around with that a bit more. And you can look up online. There's a lot of guides on how to make your LinkedIn look a bit better, and how to use the space more effectively. Some people also recommend in the headline using things like icons like emoticons or emojis. So the key part of this whole strategy is what to say in the connection request. And so this is where you're using LinkedIn either to grow your network or to do research. Lives or dies by the connection request message. So this guy here has done a poor job. He said, "Hey there, percentage first name," and so this is clearly some sort of automation, and this this is being sent out to everybody who he knows. So your name popped up in my recommendation, so it would be good to connect. There's no real kind of value or anything there, so it's kind of a weak reason to connect. So this one here is somebody who says, "Hi, Alistair, this is to me. I'm trying to connect a local business to give them an advantage in their space by introducing them to our platform. Give me 10 minutes and I can explain how." So he wants 10 minutes from me to show me how this is going to work. But 10 minutes to somebody who you don't know, it's actually a big ask. And he doesn't know if this will actually help me at all. So he never asked me, do I want to learn, or could I use automated marketing segmentation platform? And I think that you need to do a bit better than this. It's too kind of it's too much. Here's what we've got. We don't care about whether you can use it or not. Here's another one. I see we share common connections. Looks like you're doing some interesting work. It would be great to connect. So this has worked, and because they've connected here, but it's still not really great. But it's definitely better than the previous one. So sharing common connections and just saying it would be great to connect. Okay, that for me is better than the last one. So I was trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to write in these connection requests? So instead of sending out the regular connection request, what I did was I asked them to complete a quick survey. And so here's an example of one here. So it's hi and their name. I'm working to better understand how consultants view their authority. Would you be willing to spare 60 seconds for a quick survey? It'll mean the world to me. And then there's the link. And then I'm not selling anything here. You have my no pitch guarantee. So this is kind of the crux of the whole thing. So when I sent out this message, this arrives in somebody's inbox on LinkedIn as a connection request. So and so they see this link, they see my connection. They have a choice of clicking on the link to do the survey, or ignoring the whole thing, or connecting with me. They have a few different choices there. And then this is one of the replies I got back. Happy to connect. I appreciate the no pitch guarantee, by the way, and I have completed your survey. So this is like an ideal scenario now for me, because Lee has connected with me. So I've grown my network. Um, it's started well in the sense that it's good connection. He's appreciates what I said about the no pitch, and he's completed the survey. So that's kind of like a triple win for me. And so this approach has been really successful at adding connections for me on LinkedIn. And my theory is that these are kind of a bit softer than a typical LinkedIn connection request. So the actual wording has kind of worked out a bit better, and people find it a bit easier to tolerate. So this is my network as of 2019, as you saw. So it's 3,242 connections. I'm just gonna check my actual live LinkedIn here. I just want to see where that's at now, um, which is about a year later. So I'll just see what my profile says here. So it looks like I have 4,000. So here we go, 4,546. So it's another 1,300 larger than it was when I did this. So that's how much my network has grown. Now the really interesting thing is I started out with 1,000, pretty much 1,000 bang on, exactly. And so I'm able to say with some authority that 2,200 of these 3,200 are actually in my target audience, that they are consultants of some kind. So when I was doing this, I was adding about 30 connections a day. Now, one thing I'll just say about this is that's probably a little bit too high. Um, and if I was doing this again, I might back those numbers down a little bit. I was automating it. It's not strictly necessary to automate it, but you can be much more time efficient if you are using automation. And if you are using automation, the tools that you can use are Google Chrome browser with the Duck Soup plugin, and LinkedIn Sales Navigator is required. That's because the professional LinkedIn has the kind of search features. So those are the tools. And it is important, limit connection requests to 5% of your total connections per day. So whatever the number is, keep it under 5% of your total connection number, and then keep your outgoing connection requests under 2,000 in total. So you should never have more than 2,000 open connection requests, and probably should have less than that. Now, what can happen is, and you can read about kind of the limits at those URLs there. What can happen is LinkedIn can actually give you a kind of a warning by limiting your account to only connect with people who you have the email address of, um, and that can and did eventually happen to me. Now they did remove that restriction a bit later, but I would be concerned about that happening again. So I would be careful of just hitting those kind of high numbers. Now here's the key part for me is that the people who I connected with, you can see here, managing partner in consulting, a partner, a consultant, speaker, and author, a consulting partner, a partner, managing partner, an advisory, and a mastermind facilitator. All of these people are consultants of some kind. And so that's the really cool thing here is that I have connected with targeted, active, ideal potential clients. And so that is a huge win just in connecting with these people on LinkedIn and growing my audience. But the cool thing is there's more. Here's the surveys, and this was a screenshot I took in the survey tool. I think I used getfeedback.com. And one of the reasons I like that was because they had really nice mobile friendly survey kind of questions. So you can see 4 questions, 6 questions, 3 questions, 3 questions. So mostly 3 or 4 questions. This one had 6 questions. I think there were more multi choice in there. The last question, by the way, was usually some variation of if you leave your email address, I will respond to you with sorry, no, if you leave your email address, I will update you with survey and add you to my email, something like that. So now back when I did this, yeah, so I had 494 survey responses. Now I added a couple more surveys after these, and they've got responses as well. You can see this one was just starting at 0 responses when I took this screenshot. So how I started out, and I started out. So these are newest at the top and the oldest at the bottom. How I started out was I started out with this survey about website effectiveness, like how effective is your website, and then uh, looking at lead generation in general. And then I was wondering about how much they spent on websites, and then I was so how it worked is every time I did a survey and I got some results and I went through the results, I got something that kind of triggered more questions, and so I built on top of that. So this isn't 494 surveys of the exact same survey. They're all slightly different. Um, Now, given that it's such a homogenous group that it's all the same kind of people, I think that's okay to do it in that way. And also, I do have this survey results have been kind of independently confirmed by a friend of mine who did uh, a survey of the same audience in a very different way. He interviewed, I think, 40 or 50 consultants, and he found the same results, which was fascinating. So we've kind of cross validated each other's surveys there. So anyway, how it worked was each time I got answers, that led to more questions, which helped me build the next survey. And so eventually, I think I ended up. So how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so seven. Yeah, seven here. I think I have another three. So I think I ended up with 10 surveys in total. Now, one of the interesting things here is this survey down here, the lead gen survey. I did this survey to groups, to individuals in firm size 1 to 10 employees. And I did the same survey at 11 to 50 and then 51 to 200. And the reason for that is because I was getting what I thought were really fascinating responses. And I wanted to see how did that actually apply to larger size firms. And I was amazed to find that the answer was the same from firms with 1 person up to firms size 200. And that actually became it became a kind of a really key learning for me. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. So this is kind of the approach, and this is what how I went about it. Here's some of the questions. So this is based. This is one of the website build questions. So simply, how much does your website cost? Very simple one. And a lot of people spending not a lot of money on their website. This was kind of really insightful for me in that they're not spending money on the website. So why is that? I should have separated out here, by the way. I should have separated out 0 and then 1 to 999 because there's a lot of people who, because I don't know, did they spend 0 in total or it was it a low cost website? So I should have broken that down a little bit better. Again, just one of these things you learn as you go along. Um, but it shows me, geez, okay, so this audience does not value their website for some reason. So that's quite an interesting insight. So why is that? And then I asked how effective is your website at generating leads, and not effective at all, really. down towards the bottom end of the spectrum here. Um, have you built your website yourself, or do you not have a website? Did you hire a professional? And so, again, these are all answering questions that I had around how they view their website or how they use their website. So yeah, I found this really interesting, and so this one's it's a bit harder to read on the screen here. Um, but why do you think your website is or is not effective at generating leads? And the really fascinating thing here for me was that the real answer that I got back here was the website's job is not to generate leads, and that was when first started to kind of understand the purpose of the website in the whole process. And it's not really about generating leads for most consulting firms. Now, if you watched um, one of my previous video live streams was about the two types of consulting website, and the majority here are in the passive trust building brand type website. They're not in the active lead generation type website. And so that was when I first started to get an insight into how that actually worked. So the next thing is there's more. Uh, I did ask them, would they be interested in getting the results of this by email? And so I have literally hundreds of emails from people who are interested in getting the survey results. And again, but wait, there's more. So the last thing is I redirect them to my email opt in after the survey, and a lot of people opted in. So at the end of the survey, you can put in a redirect. And so I got a huge number, and it's a lot bigger than that now. So I think I've grown my email list to about 450 on the back of this process. So there's lots of wins here. I've grown my LinkedIn connections. I've got a huge amount of information from this research, and I've grown my email list. And so here's some of the things that I learned. First thing is, if you're sending connection requests, include a message if you can. There's a personalized invite in the app. So if you're using the LinkedIn app, have a look for that. The specific wording really matters in your connection request. Shorter requests are usually better. They sound less like a sales pitch. The longer, the more text you have in there, the more it sounds like a pitch. Include the linking factor between you if it's not too wide. So I wanted to connect with you because your name starts with an A. There's not really a good connection. But if there's something like, "Hey, I see that you're also into surfing," um, and that might be some sort of connection, some sort of kind of mutually shared thing, um, and identify that because it helps the other person to know that you actually know something about them. You've looked something up. You're not just blindly kind of mashing the connect button. Uh, Try and be genuine. Try and find a message that is in your voice in your connection request. Try and write in your own voice. And this one I really hate. Don't ask some sort of sales bait question. These kind of rhetorical questions where already know the answer, like, "Hey, would you like to get more customers?" Things like that. They don't seem genuine. Don't connect to people with no profile photo. It's just they're probably not very active on LinkedIn. So I would generally just avoid people with no profiles, and then don't put any kind of pressure or expectation. Um, Assume that they're probably not going to get back to you. So just don't expect that people are going to get back to you. And then if they do, it's great. If you are automating, leave out their business name. Don't use the business name because the business. If you use somebody's exact business name, it's usually going to signify that you are using automation. Ideally, just use their first name. Uh, some people are going to be spiky. Some people are going to be if you send enough connection requests on LinkedIn, you're going to hit somebody who's having a bad day, and they're going to get annoyed with you. So ignore them, thank them, or move on. So that is the growing your LinkedIn audience. Just on the regularly publishing to LinkedIn, likes and comments really matter. So trying to get likes and comments on your stuff is really important. Ask for a comment. So ask them explicitly in your LinkedIn post. At the end of it, say, "Hey, can you leave a comment with your recommendations?" And you can also mention and link your email opt-in, because really it's really important to try and grow your email list. So yeah, those things will really help. And the more likes and comments, the more active your engagement is, the more your LinkedIn posts are going to be kept live in the kind of the feed. So that's it. Thanks for watching today. You can find me at Alistair McDermott on LinkedIn and at What Strategy. And you can get these slides if you go over to marketingforconsultants.com and sign up for the email, and they will be in one of the emails there. Okay, so that's it for me for today. Thanks for watching, and see you again tomorrow.